Jai Hind, dear children. Today we are going to study a new chapter in geography. Which is that chapter? Yeah, your sixth chapter in geography, that is manufacturing industries. So once again, which is that chapter? Your sixth chapter, manufacturing industries. So before going directly into the topic, first we want to have an introduction about the chapter. From the chapter name itself, it is clear that this chapter belongs to our secondary sector in our economic activity, which is otherwise known as industry related sector. So, in this chapter, we are going to study in detail about our industry related sector or our secondary sector, which gives a lot of importance to manufacturing. What is the name of the chapter? Manufacturing industries. So first we want to know the meaning of the term manufacturing. So what is the meaning of the term manufacturing? Production of goods in large quantities after processing from raw materials to more valuable products is called manufacturing. So once again, what is manufacturing? Production of goods in large quantities after processing from raw materials to more valuable product is known as manufacturing. So that means we are producing something in bulk after processing from the raw materials that we are getting from the primary sector to more valuable products to earn profit. That is known as manufacturing. For example, paper is manufactured from wood pulp, sugar from sugarcane, iron and steel from iron ore, and aluminium from bauxite. So next, we want to know the meaning of the term industry. So what is an industry? Production of goods from raw materials within limited space and activities involved in producing a particular product for the consumer is termed as an industry. So this chapter we want to give a lot of importance to this idea, that means industry, because we are studying a lot about different types of industries in this chapter. So once again, what is an industry? Production of goods from raw materials within a limited space and activities involved in producing a particular product for the consumer, that is known as industry. So we are producing goods, finished goods from the raw materials, and these industries, we know that it is having a limited space and various types of processing activities is involved in this industry, and as a result of all these, we are producing a particular product, a finished product for the consumer. Who is a consumer? A person who are purchasing the product. That person is known as a consumer. So in industrial sector, they are doing all these products, all these activities to make a finished product for the consumer. That is known as an industry. We can say that people who employed in industrial sector manufacture the primary materials into finished goods to earn profit. So we can say that the economic strength of a country is measured by the development of manufacturing industries and its outputs. So once again, the economic strength of a country is measured by the development of manufacturing industries and its outputs. So every country, they want to give a lot of importance for the development of these manufacturing industries. So the next topic we want to study in this chapter is importance of manufacturing. Manufacturing sector is considered as the backbone of economic development because of various reasons. So here we are going to study those reasons which help to consider manufacturing sector as the backbone of economic development of our country. So the first reason of the importance of manufacturing is that manufacturing sector modernize agriculture with advanced tools and equipments and reduces excess burden on agriculture because how it reduces, it provides people with jobs in secondary and tertiary sector. So once again, manufacturing sector modernizes agriculture with advanced tools and equipments like the most modern chemical fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides, agriculture machines like threshers, tractors, most modern irrigation facilities, all that. They are just modernizing the agriculture sector. And at the same time, it reduces excess burden on agriculture. What type of burden our agriculture sector is having? The main burden or the main problem faced by the agriculture sector or agriculture population in India is underemployment or disguised unemployment, which can be reduced to a large extent by the industrial sector by providing jobs in secondary sector and tertiary sector. So this is the first importance. That means the manufacturing sector, they are helping our agriculture sector to develop a lot and to overcome their problems. The second one is the public sectors and the joint sector industries bring down regional disparity by setting up industrial units in tribal and backward areas. So once again, the public sector and joint sector industries bring down regional disparity by setting up industrial units in tribal and backward areas. Because, what is the reason for all these things? Because in our country, we face the problem of discrimination based on caste. And it will be more in backward areas and forest areas where the raw materials are abundant and rich. So our government, with the help of industrial sector, try to make use of all these areas and at the same time to overcome the problem of unemployment and poverty in our country. The next is the export of these manufactured goods, whatever we have produced in this industrial sector, expands our trade and commerce and thereby brings in much needed foreign exchange. So the meaning here is that if we are producing good quality and good quantity of goods in our manufacturing sector, then it will lead to a good export and import process in our country. As a result of all this, we are having a lot of foreign exchange in our country also, which is very important for the economic development of our country and also to improve our import and export process. So, the export of manufactured goods also leads to the development of our country by bringing in foreign exchange. The last importance of manufacturing sector is that countries capable to procure raw materials and transform them in value added goods through manufacturing always become prosperous. So once again, countries capable to procure raw materials and transform them in value added goods through manufacturing always become prosperous. So this means that those countries which are making use of their primary and secondary sectors in the proper way, primary and secondary sectors and their activities in the proper way, is also having the strength for the overall development process in their country, and they can change their position from this. So we can understand that every country wants to give a lot of importance to the industrial sector, especially our country, that means India, because India's prosperity lies in increasing and diversifying our secondary sector or industrial sector. Next, we have to study how agriculture and industry, that means our manufacturing sector, go hand in hand, or how agriculture and industry are complementary to each other, or how agriculture and industry are not exclusive of each other. So here we want to study the interlink between agriculture and industry, and how agro-based industries in India have given a major boost to agriculture in its productivity. All this we want to study in detail in this area. So here we are going to study the link between agriculture and industry. So primary goods, that means raw materials are produced by agriculture. Various types of raw materials are produced in the agriculture sector, while all these raw materials are processed by industry. So agriculture sector, they are helping the industry by providing various types of raw materials. At the same time, the industrial sector, they are helping our agriculture sector by processing and making their raw materials into a finished good. Agriculture acts as a route to supply food, that means raw materials, for all branches of industry. That means all our industrial area were supported by the agriculture sector by providing them raw materials as a route to provide them raw materials. Industries are in existence in India because raw materials is supplied by agriculture, and our agriculture sector is day by day developing in India. Because of that, in a lot of industries, those who are based on this agriculture sector, especially the agro-based industries, they are in great existence as a result because they are getting a lot of raw materials from our agriculture sector. Another importance of agriculture in industrial sector is that people engaged in industries require food, clothes and shelter, and all these were provided by the agriculture sector. So here also we can see a link between the agriculture sector and the industrial sector. So another importance is that agriculture, they always stand as a grower. They are growing something, that means they are growing raw materials for the industries, while the industries, their stand is that they are the buyers and the processors. They are buying raw materials from the agriculture sector and they are processing the raw materials. So the role of this agriculture sector is growing the raw materials, and the role or the duty of the industrial sector is buying the raw materials and processing the raw materials. So here also we can see a link between the agriculture and industrial sector. So from all this we can understand that agriculture and industry are complementary to each other. We already studied how agriculture sector is helping the industrial sector, and here we are studying how industries help agriculture sector. Industries provide goods like chemical fertilizers, chemical pesticides, insecticides, and various types of agriculture implements and machineries like tractors, threshers, combined harvesters, and pumping sets to agriculture. And these industries, they also provide agriculture with reliable means of transportation facilities to collect goods, seeds, and to facilitate the distribution of agriculture products. So here in this way also the industrial sector, they are helping the agriculture. So once again, industries provide goods like chemical fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides, agriculture implements and machineries like tractors, threshers, combined harvesters and pumping sets to agriculture. And at the same time, the industry, they also provide agriculture with a reliable means of transport to collect goods, seeds and to facilitate distribution of agriculture products. Numerous researches and experiments beneficial to agriculture are possible due to industrial development. Because our industrial development in the recent years they developed a lot. That means they are just finding out many new items and they are making use of these items in our agriculture areas, which led to the fast growth and development of our agriculture sector. And this industrial sector, day by day, they producing many new model and fast moving machines and many other items to agriculture sector for their fast development. So, the development in the industrial sector, it led to an increased productivity and efficient processing in this area. And as the industrial sector developed and processed a lot, it led to the efficient development in agriculture sector also. In the present world of globalization or the global world, it is very important for our country. So what is the meaning of the term globalization? It is a process of interaction and integration among people, companies and governments worldwide. So once again, what is the meaning of the term globalization? It is a process of interaction and integration among people, companies and governments worldwide. So this global competition, when our country also entered in this global competition, that means a worldwide competition, it made a lot of change because before this global competitions or globalization, self-sufficiency is enough. But just now, self-sufficiency is not enough. So our goods must be at par. At par means must be equal with the international market goods. Then only we can able to sell our goods in the international market and have foreign exchange. That means our goods must be efficient to compete with the international market goods. So that much change happened in our country with the help of the interrelation between agriculture and industry, or the link between agriculture and industry. The next topic is contribution of industry to national economy. So what is the next topic? Contribution of industry to national economy. So now in this section we are going to study about the GDP contribution of industrial sector in our Indian economy. So what is GDP? You have studied in your economics also, isn't it? It's gross domestic product. So how much GDP is contributing by the industrial sector in our Indian economy, that we are going to study in this area. Over the last 2 decades, the contribution of industrial sector on GDP has stagnated at 17% out of the 27%. So out of 27%, our contribution is only, our industrial contribution is only 17%. For industry, which includes 10% for mining, quarrying, electricity and gas. But this is very less compared to some East Asian countries whose contribution is 25 to 35%. So the trend of growth rate in manufacturing over the last decade has been around 7% per annum. But the desired growth rate over the next decade is 12%. That means our just now growth is 7% and the next decade we are desiring, that means we are wishing to have an increase of 12%. Since 2003, its growing rate once again changed over 9 to 10% per annum. Our government can make a lot of change in this area by adopting appropriate policy interventions and renewed efforts to improve productivity. So if economics predict that manufacturing sector can achieve its target. That means they are desiring target. If our government is giving a lot of importance to that and government introduce many new policies and schemes for that. Our Indian government has set up the National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council NMCC with this objective, that means to make a change in the growing trend of our industrial sector. Our government just started this National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council. So in the present day world of territorial specialization, our industry needs to be more efficient and competitive. Our goods must be at par with those of other countries in the international market. Only then we will be able to fetch foreign exchange and increase our national wealth. Next, we are going to study about another important topic related to this chapter, that is industrial location. For the location of an industry, we need both physical factors or physical values, which include both land, availability of raw materials, favorable climate, power resources, that means electricity, all that. So, for the location of an industry, we need two factors. One is the physical factor or the physical values, which includes land, availability of raw materials, favorable climate, power resources. The next factor is the human factor or the human value, which includes laborers, both skilled and unskilled laborers, then a cheap and at the same time cheap laborers, capital, then market, supply of network, how good housing facilities, good transportation facilities, good communication facilities. So along with the physical factors, human factors is also very much important for the location of an industry, and these human factors includes labor, capital, market, then transportation facilities, communication facilities, good housing facilities, all that. Now we are going to study about the main factors that influence a industrial location. What are the factors that are very important to make an area as an industrial located area or an industrialized area? So first one is availability of raw materials, labors, capital, power supply, market, government policies and cost. These are the main factors that are very much important for the location of an industry, and we want to study each and every factor in detail. So the first factor is availability of raw materials. It is the prior condition or the prior factor to establish an industry, and raw materials are required to feed machine. Without raw material, no factory can produce or manufacture any good. So availability of raw material is a very important factor of location of an industry. Next factor is labor, which includes both skilled and unskilled laborers, which are very important or which are very required for different types of work in an industry. At the same time, we want to have laborers, mostly cheap laborers, that means hardworking, and the wages were also very cheap. That type of laborers are in a great need in these industrial areas. Labor should be available at low wages throughout the year. So, like the first factor, availability of raw material, the second factor, labor, is also very much important for the location of an industry. Another important factor is capital. Capital is required to purchase a piece of land for factory or industrial unit. And at the same time, capital is also required to purchase raw materials, tools and machines. Power supply is also very important in industrial area. So those areas where availability of power is very efficient, we want to give a lot of importance to that industrial location area. Next is market. If the industrial location is very close to market area, then it will be easy for the transportation also. So we can overcome the overburden of cash on transportation facilities. So first we want to find out whether the industrial area is very close to market. Then it will be easy for us to have our import and export process in the proper way. Every government is having their own policies and programs to attract many new industrialists to start their industries in these industrial areas in our country. So, in order to make an area as an industrial area and in order to have more industrial industries in our country, our government want to take many new policies and programs to attract new industrialists to this industrial area. So, all the factors, that means availability of raw materials, labor, power, market, government policies, then water supply, communication, transportation, everything is very important for the location of an industry. But apart from all this, one thing is also very important, that we call it as capital or cost. Everything linked to the final estimate of our cost, and this cost is equally important related to other factors of industrial location. Least cost is the highlight of all production. If least cost is there, then industrialists were more attracted towards our country to start their industries. Another important concept related to this topic is industrialization and urbanization go hand in hand. What is the meaning of this statement? This means as industrialization developed, for example, in a particular rural area, then there started many new transportation facilities, banking facilities, medical facilities, many new types of shops, many new construction works also took place in that area, which all leads to the total change of that area, and it changed into a developed area which we called as urbanized area. When the backward areas become cities, it provides many new basic services like banking, insurance, transport, labor, consultant agencies, financial advisors, at the same time good market facilities also. So from this we can understand that whichever area, whether it is a tribal area or a backward area or a rural area, if that area any new industry is started, then it will leads to the urbanization of that area, and at the same time it leads to the overall infrastructure development of that area. So what happens is that if an area is providing all these facilities, that means all the factors of industrial location together, then many industries tend to come together to make use of the advantages offered by that urbanized area. And we call that process as agglomeration economies. So an agglomeration economy means many industries, they come together in a particular urbanized area to make use of its advantages properly. It is known as agglomeration economy. But when we have a study about our past, we can understand that during the pre-independence period, most of the industries were located near to the ports like Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai to make transportation of goods very easy. But today, not only in coastal areas near to the ports, but also in several other interior areas in our country also, we are having a large number of industries. So from this we can understand that in recent years in our country, we are having a large infrastructure development. Next topic is classification of industries. If we want to know each and every industrial sector in our area in detail, then first of all, we want to classify industries on the basis of some particular criteria which help us to understand these industries. In this chapter, industries are mainly classified into five main categories. So, the first one is on the basis of raw material used. Second one on the basis of their main role. Third one on the basis of the capital investment. Fourth one on the basis of ownership. And the last one is on the basis of bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods used. So, once again, industries are mainly classified into five main categories. They are first one on the basis of raw material used. Second one on the basis of their main role. Third one on the basis of their capital investment. Fourth one on the basis of ownership. And fifth one on the basis of bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods. So, first of all, on the basis of this raw material used, industries are divided into two, that is agro-based industries and mineral-based industries. And second, on the basis of the main role, industries again divided into two. They are basic or key industries, and another one is consumer industries or consumer goods industries. Next, on the basis of capital investment, here also industries are divided into two, large scale industries and small scale industries. Fourth one, on the basis of ownership, here industries are divided into four. They are private sector industries, public sector industries, joint sector industries and cooperative sector industries. And the last and the fifth one, on the basis of bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods used, industries are divided into two. They are heavy industries and light industries. So, in this chapter, we want to study each and every industries in detail and its main functions also. On the basis of raw material used, industries are divided into two. They are agro-based industries and mineral-based industries. Agro-based industries are those industries that converts the agriculture products into industrial products. So once again, agro-based industries are those industries that convert agriculture products into industrial products. The raw material in these agro-based industries are from agriculture itself. These industries generally provide employment in rural areas. These industries mostly produced perishable goods. So, once again, what is an agro-based industry? Agro-based industries are those industries that converts the agriculture products into industrial products. All the raw materials in these agro-based industries are from agriculture itself. These industries generally provide employment in rural areas. Agro-based industries mostly produced perishable goods. Then examples for agro-based industries are cotton textile industry, jute textile industry, woolen industry, silk industry, that type of textile industries, and at the same time tea, coffee, sugar, edible oil industries also included in agro-based industries. So once again, the example of agro-based industries are cotton textile industry, jute textile industry, woolen industry, silk industry, and at the same time tea, coffee, sugar, edible oil industries also comes under this category. The next, mineral-based industries comes under this classification. So what is a mineral-based industry? Mineral-based industries are those industries who engaged in processing of goods obtained from mining process as raw materials to convert into finished goods. So once again, what is a mineral-based industry? Mineral based industries are those industries who engaged in processing of goods obtained from mining process as raw materials to convert into finished goods. These industries derived their raw materials from minerals, and they usually provide employment both in rural and urban areas. Mineral based industries produced both consumer and value based goods. So, once again, what's a mineral based industry? Mineral based industries are those industries who engaged in processing of goods obtained from mining process as raw materials to convert into finished goods. These industries they derive their raw materials from minerals, and they usually provide employment in rural and urban areas. Mineral based industries produced both consumer based goods and value based goods. Then the examples for mineral based industries are iron and steel industry, engineering, shipbuilding, machine tools, cement making, aluminum industry, petrochemical industry also comes under this category. So the examples for mineral based industries are iron and steel industry, engineering industry, shipbuilding industry, machine tools making industry, cement industry, aluminum industry, and petrochemical industry. On the basis of their main role or nature, industries are divided into two. They are basic or key industries and consumer industries or consumer goods industries. So, once again, on the basis of their main role or nature, industries are divided into two. They are basic or key industries and consumer industries or consumer goods industries. Basic or key industries are those industries which supply their products or raw materials to manufacture other goods. So, once again, basic or key industries are those industries which supply their products or raw materials to manufacture other goods. On other words, we can say that these industries are very important since on them depends many other industries. So, these industries they are known as basic or key. Why? Because since on them depend many other industries for their different process. So, these industries are called basic or key industries. For example, iron and steel industry, the machine production plants, mainly at Ranchi, the copper smelting industry, the aluminum smelting industry. So, basic or key industries, from the name itself, we can understand that are those industries which supply their products or raw materials to manufacture other goods. The next industry is the consumer industries or consumer goods industries. So, consumer industries are those industries which produce goods for direct use by the consumers. So, what are consumer industries? They are those industries which produce goods for direct use by consumers. These industries produce goods for the consumption of the people at large scale area. For example, the modern bakeries, the Delhi milk scheme, the fountain pen industry, the electrical appliances industry. All these are examples of consumer industries. So, once again, consumer industries are those industries which produce goods for direct use by consumers. These industries produce goods for the consumption of the people at large scale area. Examples are the modern bakeries, the Delhi milk scheme, the fountain pen industries, and electrical appliances industries. The third division is on the basis of their capital investment. Industries are further divided into two. They are large scale industries and small scale industries. So once again, on the basis of the capital investment, industries are further divided into two. They are large scale industries and small scale industries. Large scale industries are those industries in which an entrepreneur or an industrialist invest capital more than 1 crore on assets. These industries also employ a very huge number of labor and manufacture goods in large scale. So once again, large scale industries are those industries in which an entrepreneur or an industrialist invest capital more than 1 crore on asset. These industries also employ a very huge number of labor and manufacture goods in large scale. Examples of large scale industries are jute industry, tea industry, cement industry, sugar industry, the engineering industry. Small scale industries are those industries which can be defined with reference to the maximum investment allowed on the asset on a unit. Presently, the investment limit is rupees 1 crore. This limit can change over a period of time. So once again, small scale industries are those industries which can be defined with reference to the maximum investment allowed to on the asset on a unit. Presently, the investment limit is rupees 1 crore. This limit can change over a period of time. Examples of small scale industries are toy industry, napkin industry, tissue making industry, chocolates industry, water bottle making, paper industry, pen industry, then toothpick making, etc. So once again, the examples of small scale industries are toy industry, napkin making, tissue, chocolates industry, water bottle making, then paper industry, pen industry, toothpick making. The fourth division is on the basis of their ownership. Industries are divided into four. So once again, on the basis of ownership, industries are divided into four. They are private sector industries, public sector industries, joint sector industries and cooperative sector industries. So once again, on the basis of ownership, industries are divided into four. They are private sector industries, public sector industries, joint sector industries and cooperative sector industries. First of all, what is a public sector? It is a segment of industry owned and operated or controlled by the state or its agencies. So what is a public sector industry? It is a segment of industry owned and operated by the state or its agencies. So otherwise we can say that the portion of the economy composed of all levels of government and government controlled enterprises are called public sector industries. So portion of the economy composed of all levels of government and government controlled enterprises are called public sector industries. Examples of public sector industries are Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited, Steel Authority of India Limited, Gas Authority of India Limited, Bhilai Steel Plant. All these are examples of public sector industries. So once again, examples of public sector industries are Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited, Steel Authority of India Limited, Gas Authority of India Limited and Bhilai Steel Plant. These public sectors industries run on socio-economic pattern in India. So the public sector industries, they run on socio-economic pattern in India. Next is the private sector industries. Are those industries controlled and owned by individuals or firms or companies? So once again, the private sector industries are those industries controlled and owned by individuals or firms or companies. Examples of private sector industries are TISCO, Tata Iron and Steel Corporation, Bajaj Auto Limited, Dabur Industries. All these are examples of private sector industries. So once again, examples of private sector industries are Tisco, Bajaj Auto Limited, Dabur Industries. Next is joint sector industries are those which owned both by the state and some private industrialists or private firms or private individuals. So once again, joint sector industries are those which owned both by the state and some private industrialists or private firms or private individuals. Examples of joint sector industries are Oil India Limited, Bharat Aluminium, Maruti Udyog, Cochin Refineries, Gujarat State Fertilizers. All these are examples of joint sector industries. So once again, the examples of joint sector industries are Oil India Limited, Bharat Aluminium, Maruti Udyog, Cochin Refineries and Gujarat State Fertilizers. The last one, intercategorization of industries on the basis of ownership, is the cooperative sector industries. Cooperative sector industries are those industries which are owned or organized by a group of people producing raw materials and help in running the industry in a cooperative manner. So once again, cooperative industries are those industries owned or organized by a group of people producing raw materials and help in running the industry in a cooperative manner. Examples of cooperative industries are Amul, coir industry in Kerala, sugar industry in Maharashtra. So the examples of cooperative sector industries are Amul, coir industry in Kerala, sugar industry in Maharashtra. On the basis of their bulk of weight of raw materials and finished goods, industries are divided into two. They are heavy industries and light industries. So once again, on the basis of their bulk of weight of raw materials and finished goods, industries are divided into two. They are heavy industries and light industries. Heavy industries are characterized by the heavy and bulky nature of raw materials and finished products that incur heavy transit cost. So once again, heavy industries are characterized by the heavy and bulky nature of raw materials and finished products that incur heavy transit cost. Or otherwise, we can say that the manufacture of large, heavy articles and materials in bulk can be called as heavy industries. So, the manufacture of large, heavy articles and materials in bulk can be called as heavy industries. Examples of heavy industries are iron and steel industry, oil mining, shipbuilding, steel, chemicals, machinery, manufacturing. All these are examples of heavy industry. So examples of heavy industries are iron and steel industry, oil mining industry, shipbuilding industry, steel making industry, chemical industries, machinery, manufacturing industries. All these are examples of heavy industries. Light industries consuming lightweight raw materials and producing also lightweight goods. So what are light industries? Light industries consuming lightweight raw materials and producing also lightweight goods. Examples of light industries are electrical industries, clothes making, bulb making, furniture items like sofa, steel almaras, matchbox making, computer assemble items, electronic gadgets industries, all are all examples of light industries. So once again, examples of light industries are electrical industries, then a toy making industry, clothes making, bulb making, furniture items like sofa, steel almaras, matchboxes, computer assemble items and electronic gadgets. Dear children, watch the video carefully, copy down the important points and read your textbook 3 or 4 times. Okay, thank you.